Hi everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is what we will be drawing in today's video, this fun, kind of retro Happy Halloween poster. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, lots of fun techniques and lots of fun texture at the end to make it look all old and faded and paper-like. So if you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. I also offer extra tutorials over on Patreon, so if you want to check that out, I have it linked in the description below. We've been drawing lots of cool stuff over there lately. And then before we get started on today's drawing, all you will need to do is download the color palette and the font that we will use. They're linked in the description below. They're totally free to download. For the color palette, just download the file to your iPad, double tap it to open it, and it will automatically pop into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the video today. It might add it to the very bottom of your list of color palettes, so look for it there if you don't see it at the top. And then for the font, you can do the same thing. You can double tap the font on your iPad and I think open it in Procreate and it will automatically import, or you can go to a canvas, add a text layer. And then when you're in your font library, like so, double tap, click on your font to open up your options. When you're in here, you can click import font and find the font where you downloaded on your iPad to import it that way. So I will also post the canvas dimensions, color profile, and layers needed on the screen and in the description below so that you can use those to set up your canvas. So take a minute to get everything ready and then come back and we'll get started. Okay, first things first, this is the color palette that we'll be working with today. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. The first thing that we will do is set our background color. To do so, we will go to our layer menu, click on this background color layer to open up our color selector, and select the first color on the first row of our color palette to fill it in with this creamy color. Next up, we're going to make just like the little box that our ghost and stuff will be inside. So to do that, we'll just go to our layer menu, make sure we're on layer 1 here. Grab our black color, the second one on the top row. Grab our selection tool, set it to rectangle, turn on color fill, and then we're just going to make a really skinny horizontal rectangle. So I'm just going to start kind of right in here a little ways from the left edge, a little ways down from the top, and make just a nice skinny rectangle all the way across like so, leaving a little room on the right side as well. Okay, then we can grab that with our arrow tool. On freeform, you can change the size of it. So if you need to stretch it left to right, or lessen it left to right, and then most importantly, we want it really skinny from top to bottom. So I'm just gonna skinny it up quite a bit so it's really small. So just using this middle blue button. Maybe something like that. I think that's a good amount of room on the right and left side. And then most importantly, we'll just center it. So with snapping turned on in the bottom left, we will just center it on our screen from left to right where we see this vertical yellow line. Okay, we'll end up centering it again once we have the rest of it. So, whatever room on top is fine. We just want to make sure that we like the amount of room on the left and right side. Just a little bit there, something like that. Okay. Back to our layer menu, let's make a duplicate of this little rectangle that we have now. So slide to the left and hit duplicate. Grab our arrow tool. Click rotate 45 degrees twice so that we have a vertical line now and drag it on over here. I'm going to just line up these two corners. So with snapping turned on, it should line them up perfectly. So once they snap together like so, where their corners are snapped together. Okay. Then on our layer menu, we'll snap these two layers together so they're just one layer with like our little corner. We'll make a duplicate of this now, so slide to the left and hit duplicate. Grab our arrow tool, and then we'll click flip horizontal, and then flip vertical. And now we have our opposite corners. They should be perfectly lined up already. And we should have a nice square. Now we'll go to our layer menu and snap those two layers together so we have our square on one layer. It doesn't have to be a perfect square, it can be a little bit more rectangular, but if you want to change the shape of it at all, click your arrow tool to select it on freeform or uniform. You can just adjust it a little bit I'm going to leave mine kind of as is. I think it's pretty good. And now again, like I said earlier, we'll just center it. So with snapping still turned on, we'll center it all the way. So from left to right with our vertical line and from top to bottom with our horizontal line. So you should see your 2 yellow lines there. That means it is centered perfectly on the canvas. Might make mine just a teeny bit smaller. If you resize it at all, just make sure to recenter it. Okay, that looks great. Next up, we're just immediately going to add our text. So then we can add our checker patterns on the top and bottom, and then we'll add the stuff inside our square. So to add our text, we will just go to our gear icon. No need to add a new layer. It will add itself already on a new layer. So under the gear icon, under add, click to add text. I like to just click my arrow tool first and drag it into my canvas. Okay, then tap on it and double tap to select the text. Let's go ahead and set the color while we're here. We're going to set it to our orange color, so the second one on the second row. Okay, with our text still selected and our keyboard popped up, we will double tap the arrow to turn on caps lock and type happy. Double tap our text again to select it and click this font button to open up our font options. And we will select the font that you should have downloaded, the SNS Bubbly font. Okay, and then now here's where we set our size and stuff, and most importantly our tracking. So we're going to space out our letters quite a bit. So let's start there with my tracking. I'm going to increase that quite a bit to like maybe 50% or so. My size I might leave kind of roughly at like 65%, somewhere in there. So maybe 65 for my size, somewhere between 50 and 60 for my tracking. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so then my arrow tool, I'll just kind of move it down here. We'll move it around again later, but let's just go ahead and move it down right on top of our box. Okay, we'll go to our layer menu. We'll make a duplicate of our text layer now. So slide to the left and hit duplicate. Either one of these, just grab our arrow tool and drag it down to the bottom of our box now. Again, we'll center it later, but just leave like a little gap between that and our box. Okay. Then we will tap on the text, double tap to select it so we can retype. With caps lock turned on, we'll type Halloween. It will probably go on to another line. That's okay. We're going to decrease the tracking. So just double tap it again or triple tap it if you need to select it. Click our font option here so we can decrease the tracking a good amount so we can get it all on one line. So I will maybe do like 23% is what I'm at here. So that looks pretty good. Same size. I did not touch the size at all. I want the letters to be the same size, just the tracking needs to be a little different. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to add the 3D effect to our letters. So we'll start with happy. So we'll go back to our layer menu, find our happy layer, slide to the left and hit duplicate, select the bottom one, click on it and click Rasterize, and that just means it's now like an image, not a font or text layer anymore, so we can't change the font, the tracking, the word, anything like that. It's just more of an image. Click on it and turn on Alpha Lock. Grab our black color, second one on the top row. Back to our layer menu, this one with Alpha Lock turned on, click on it and click Fill Layer, and it's behind our orange text, but you should see on your layer menu that it turned to black. Click on it again and turn off Alpha Lock now because we're going to need to connect our letters, so we will need to draw on it again. With that all set now, black, Alpha Lock turned off, grab your arrow tool and we can just drag this down and to the left a little bit from our other orange letters to create like a 3D block effect. So just down and to the left a little bit, however much you would like there. And then now we will do our connecting. So with our black color still selected on this same layer, we will grab our monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. We'll set it pretty low to like 5%. And we'll just zoom in on each letter and connect them. So the like little corners here where there's a good gap, we're just going to start there. Just kind of connect them with a little line, so they look like they're like all one shape. So we're just going to do that everywhere it needs it, and even like right here, it'll kind of overlap with our next black section. That's fine. We just still want to make that connection there. I'm not holding my lines down or anything. They're kind of curvy too because this font is kind of curvy, so I'm kind of just curving a little bit even, but something like that. So now my H is done. Move on to our A and do the same thing, just wherever it needs it. It doesn't need it everywhere, just usually on the corners. Then like for my P here, there's this little bit here that just, will kind of connect just a little bit better. So just the teeniest little, fill in there to kind of connect it. Then on our Y, you might not have this gap depending on how far out you moved your black, but like this gap here where the inside of my Y is on our black layer, I'll fill that in all the way. Continue to connect all the little corners. Okay, and then now that that's done, we can center these. So on our layer menu, just grab our black happy, slide right on our orange happy so it's selected also. Arrow tool, and now we can center it. So center it on our center yellow line, just a little gap above our box here. We want a good amount of room on the top for our checkered border. So make sure that looks good, about like this. And then we'll move on to Halloween and do the same thing. So on our layer menu, find our Halloween text layer, slide to the left and hit duplicate, grab the bottom one, click on it, click Rasterize, click on it again, turn on Alpha Lock. Click on it again. Click Fill Layer since our black color is selected already. Click on it one more time and turn off Alpha Lock. And then Arrow Tool, drag it down and to the left a little bit. Just kind of try to get it roughly the same as the top one, just as close as you can get it. And then we'll grab our pen tool again and do all of our connecting. For our O, circles are a little weird, but we'll just kind of, again, just gradually make this, like, these pieces just a little longer, so there's a little bit of a gap kind of filled in there. Or just so it kind of looks like it's all one piece. The inside we'll leave alone. The W, so like right here, since this is a gap on the left of my black side, I won't fill that in. Same thing here. We did it for the Y because it was like, connecting them. So like if there were a gap right here on the left side of the orange, we would fill that in. But since it's on the left side of the black, we leave that alone. Connect everything else. Okay, and then we will now center it again. So on our layer menu, grab both of our Halloween layers. So select one, slide right on the other, arrow tool, and we'll center it on our center yellow line. Again, just leaving a little gap between the top of our word and our black box. Okay, now that those are set, we can make our checkered border. So to do that, we will just make one on the top and then we'll duplicate it for the bottom and kind of flip it around. So on our layer menu, let's just add a new layer to the very top. Let's grab our cream color, the first one on the top row, the same as our background color. Grab our selection tool, still set to rectangle with color fill turned on. We're going to start on the outside of our canvas here in the top left corner. Drag across and then down a little bit, and this will be like the length of our checkered pattern. So I'm just going to stop right above my letters, leave a little gap there, let it fill in. You won't see it fill in since it's the same color as our background, but that's what we're going for. So, but on your layer menu, you should see on this layer here a little rectangle. Add a new layer right above that. Click on it and set it to a clipping mask. Grab our black color, the second one on the top row, and now we're going to make the checkerboard pattern. So to do that, we're going to use our grid brush, which comes on Procreate. It's under the textures category here, the grid brush. We'll set it to 100%, and then we're just going to draw all across this a nice grid without picking your brush up at all, and go down a little bit past the edge of our rectangle too. So wherever it stops drawing, go down a little bit further past that just so we get some more completed squares to fill in. So we'll just drag and drop to fill one square and just pick a random square. Then click this continue filling button at the top, and now we will make our checkerboard pattern. So we'll just do every other one like this: top, bottom, middle, or kind of whatever yours looks like, just to get our checker pattern all the way across like so. Okay, now that that's filled in, I might make mine just a little bit bigger. I don't know that I want to see like 2.5 squares. I kind of just want to see 2 full squares. So I'm just going to grab my arrow tool, and then I'm just going to like kind of on uniform increase the size a bit so that I just get 2 full kind of squares like this. Move it around a little bit if I need to just get them to cut off nicely. So I kind of think I want something maybe like this. So I see like half a square on the left and right side, and then like 2 full squares from top to bottom. I don't want this, like if I zoom in really close, I can see like a tiny bit of a line where my next one starts, and I don't want that either. So I'm going to make it a teeny bit bigger still till that disappears. So just kind of something like that if you want to increase the size of it. But I like the way that that looks, so I'll just click my arrow tool to turn that off. I'll go to my layer menu and I will snap these 2 layers together so I just have one rectangle with the checkerboard pattern. We'll make a duplicate for the bottom one, so I'll slide to the left and hit duplicate. Grab my arrow tool. I will first click flip horizontal, so it's just a little like opposite, and then I will drag it all the way down on my center yellow line until I'm at the bottom. So you should see your center yellow line, and then you should see a yellow line across the bottom and in the corners. That shows that we're just perfectly lined up on the bottom here. Okay, that is our checkerboard pattern. So now that that's all done, we can work on the inside of the square. So to do so, we will go to our layer menu, and the first thing we're going to do is fill in the square with our purple color. So we'll just go to our square layer, find our purple color, first one on the second row, and drag and drop to fill it in, so that's filled in nicely. We'll add everything right on top of this. So on our layer menu, let's add a new layer, and we're going to start with our ghost. So we'll grab our white color, the first color on the last row of the color palette. We'll switch back to our monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. I will set that now to like 30%, and we will draw our ghost. So I'm going to start with just a circle. So just kind of right in this like, upper left corner kind of. I'm going to draw a nice good circle shape, hold it down until it turns perfectly smooth, touch your finger on the screen to make it a perfect circle, set a good size. We can resize it later, but maybe about like this, and then fill it in. Then to make the rest of our ghost, we'll just start on the left side here, right where the circle, reaches its edge, and we will just kind of draw down from that. We'll draw a wavy line across the bottom, and then draw back up to the other side, something like this. Fill it in, or try to redo it if that one didn't work out great, but we can still make adjustments here even, so I'm just going to kind of keep on, drawing to fill everything in. Draw pretty quickly if you want some nice smooth lines. So I'll draw kind of quick across the bottom again, get some smoother lines than before. Kind of adjust these at the bottom so they're a little more even. So something kind of like this. Keep on smoothing things out. As you go, and feel free to use your eraser also if you would like. So you can grab your eraser, you can set it to the monoline brush as well, and then you can like erase some of these too if that's better for you. So I didn't really want to use my pen anymore. I kind of wanted to just erase these bumps on the bottom. Okay, so something like that gives us a nice ghost shape. Even still, with your arrow tool, you can kind of make some more adjustments. So I might set mine to freeform and make it like a little longer from top to bottom. Or you could even do like warp and you could like change the shape of it a little bit here and there. Anything like that, feel free to do so. And then again, just kind of resize it however you need to so that it kind of fills in a nice space from top to bottom. Little gap on the bottom, little gap on the top, maybe a little smaller, and then just a little bit to the left side of our square here. Okay, then we're going to make the 3D effect like we did with our letters. So we'll go to our layer menu, we'll make a duplicate of our ghost shape. Select the bottom one, click on it, turn on alpha lock, grab our black color, the second one in the top row, back to our layer menu, click on this layer, click fill layer, click on it again, turn off alpha lock, arrow tool down to the left, monoline brush with our black color still, and we'll just kind of connect them. So again, at the top where there's like the circular part, just kind of a light little line there to just make that a little smoother, and then the bottom right corner to connect as well. And then that should do it. Then we need to make the face for our ghost, so we will do that now. We'll go to our layer menu, find our white ghost layer, add a layer right above that. Same black color, same monoline brush at 30%. And I'm just going to make like a nice oval for its left eye. Hold that down. Click edit ellipse at the top to adjust it. Make it nice and kind of vertical, good size. Place it to the left here. Fill that in. Draw another one right next to it. I might make it a little bit different. Hold it down as well. Edit at the top. And then, yeah, a little bit different, not that different, but maybe like so. Fill that in. Okay, those look good. I want a little bit more space between them, so I'm going to grab my selection tool on freehand, turn off color fill. I'm just going to select around the right one. Grab my arrow tool so I can kind of move it around a little bit, just create a little more space in between them. And then I'll just select the whole layer with both of my eyes on it. And again, resize or, place it where you would like to here. Okay, and I like it with just the eyes. You can add a mouth if you want. You can do another just like little circle, another oval. You could do like a half moon shape for a smile, kind of whatever you would like to do, but I think it looks fun with just the eyes. Okay, now we will go ahead and make our bats. So to make our bat shape, we are going to turn on symmetry. So let's first go to our layer menu, add a new layer right above this layer. Grab our gear icon, under canvas, click to turn on the drawing guide, click edit drawing guide, and then set this to symmetry. Now my symmetry line pops up right in the middle, and that's fine. We're going to move the bats around anyway, but I am just going to move it to the right side a little bit just so we can, draw them over here. So I move my line over, and then I click done. On my layer menu, this layer that we're on should say assisted now. If it doesn't, just click on it and turn on drawing assist. So the symmetry is active here. So same black color, same monoline brush at 30%. And I'm just going to start right on my symmetry line here. Draw a nice curved line going up like this. Hold it down until it turns perfectly smooth. Okay, it goes up a little bit. So like the right and left side are higher than the middle point. But click the edit arc button at the top if you need to move them around or adjust them at all. But mine look good there. Then from this point, I'm just going to make a small curved line towards the middle like this. Hold it down. And another curved line to connect in the middle. Hold that down. Adjust them as you go if you need to adjust the curves or anything, or the points where they meet up. But that turned out good. I'm just going to fill that in. Very, very simple bat shape. So that's my bat. I'll grab it with my arrow tool on uniform, downsize it a little bit maybe. I'm going to rotate it to the right a little bit with this green button. And then I'm actually going to place it like outside the frame here. So just like this top right corner sticking outside of our box. Make a duplicate of that now. So on our layer menu, slide to the left and hit duplicate on the bat. Arrow tool, I'll rotate it to the left now this time a ways and kind of place it over my ghost here, kind of towards the middle of his body. Okay. That's it for my ghosts. And then next we will draw our orange sun in the background. So to do that, we'll go to our layer menu. While we're here, let's go ahead and save some layers. So I'm going to snap my 2 bats together on one layer because I like their placement. I'm going to snap my 3 ghost layers together. Those look good. To add our moon, we'll add a new layer, drag it below our ghost layer, so right above our purple square. We'll grab our orange color, the second one on the second row, same monoline brush. And we will just draw a nice good circle behind our ghost. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle, and fill it in. And then you can have it sticking outside of the square like this, or with your arrow tool and uniform, you can downsize a little bit and move it around. You can place it inside if you want, but I think it looks fun to just have it stick outside just a little bit in this top left corner, like so. Okay, and then that is it for the picture. We're just going to add some texture now. So I hope you like the way everything is looking. Make any adjustments if you don't. Let's go ahead and turn off our symmetry line. So under the gear icon, under canvas, just click to turn off the drawing guide so we don't have to look at that line anymore. Move things around if you need to. You can like move your ghost, you can move your bats, anything like that. But now for the texture, we'll just add a layer at the very top of our layer menu. We will first add kind of a fading effect. So with our same background color, the first color on the first row of the color palette, we will grab a new brush, which is going to be the artist crayon under the sketching category, set to about 25%. And we're just going to very, very lightly drag this in certain areas of like where our, black and orange and purple are, to kind of add this like, weathered effect to make our poster look kind of, old, retro, that kind of thing. So you can do it like heavier in some areas, lighter in others, but just kind of all over a little bit here and there to get this effect. So then y'all kind of just go back through and like push down in certain areas to make it a little deeper. Kind of like this. Okay, then we will add another layer with this same texture, just a different way. So on our layer menu, let's add a new layer at the very top. Click on the N on this layer to open up our options, drag it to multiply. Grab our second color on the last row of the color palette, so this kind of grayish color. And we'll just kind of add this again all over. So same brush, same size and everything, just a nice good texture to add some more dimension to it. So this adds kind of like a darker color all the way around on top of everything, just to add some more dimension and more texture all over. And then if you want to, you can adjust either of these layers by just lowering the opacity of them. So if you think your fading effect is too much, just find that layer on your layer menu, click the N to open up your options, and you can like drag this down a little bit, the opacity, so it's a little less. And then same thing on your multiply layer here, the darker one we did, you can click the M to open that up and drag the opacity down for that as well. So you can kind of adjust those how you see fit. So with that done, that completes our drawing today. Nice and simple, short and sweet. I hope that you like the way that yours turned out. I hope that you maybe learned some new things. So if you would like to see more tutorials from me in the future, go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. so that you don't miss any future tutorials. And again, if you would like to check out what I have available over on Patreon, that is linked in the description below. And if you would like to share a drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. And while you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching!